Hey everyone, welcome to Daily Revelations. Thanks for joining me today and for continuing this journey. So where are we in the Bible? We are in the time of Judges, but we're done with Judges. We are moving on to the book of Ruth. And the book of Ruth is a short book. And we often don't realize when we read it in the context of where it's in the storyline of the Bible. So, during the time of the Judges, as I talked about yesterday, we are looking at a time when there's no king in Israel. Joshua, their fearless leader who followed Moses, died. And so God brings up these judges, these people that lead, and people follow them, and then they fall away. And that's what we talked about yesterday. But today we're going to talk about one specific family, and it's the family of Naomi and her husband, who during a famine time of the Judges period, they left Bethlehem, and they said, we need to go find some place where we can eat. And so they went to the area of Moab. And in the area of Moab, while they were living there, Naomi's husband dies. Her sons, she has two sons that they came with as well, and both of them married Moabite women, because they were in the land of Moab, and didn't have Israelite women to choose from. So there they married, and unfortunately, both of Naomi's sons died as well. So where does the name Ruth for this book come from? Well, it happens to be one of the daughter-in-laws that married one of Naomi's sons was named Ruth. And Ruth chose to stick with her mother-in-law, to forsake her people, to forsake her gods, and to follow Naomi back to her land and become one of them. How awesome of a parallel is this for us that we can follow? Because isn't that what we do as Christians? We forsake the things that this world says are supposed to be the most important, are relational ties, are the gods of this world. And yet we choose, when we accept Christ, to walk away from those things and say, no, I am determining to make a better choice for my life, for myself. And in doing that, I am going to follow this way that doesn't seem like it's probably the best choice for me. Because if Ruth would have stayed back with her people, they would have taken care of her. Naomi was going back to who knows what. And that's what happens when we follow God in our faith life. We don't know. We're going into who knows what. And what an awesome thing that when we do that, and then our lives intersect with other believers, and we hear the stories of what God has done in our midst, in their midst, and we can bring back a good report. And that's what I really wanted to talk about today, is this good report. I had the privilege yesterday of having 3 get-togethers with friends because I'm visiting from out of town, and these are friends that I haven't seen in a long time. And to hear the stories of what God has been doing in their lives as they have been following him faithfully. One group of ladies I've known, we went on retreats together for a long time. And so just to be able to hear how God is working in each of their lives and through their lives, and just amazing testimonies, and bringing back a good report, and not always did what we talk about. It was all sunshine and roses. Life isn't like that. But to see that God was faithful through all of this is what was most important. And that's in the story of Ruth. We see that God is faithful because of her obedience, as we're going to continue that story tomorrow. But the one story I have to share with you, because then I met with a woman that who I had brought to the Lord years ago. And when we were having coffee, she said, Peggy, you're going to be so proud of me. And I'm like, I'm proud of you already. But the fact that she has now brought her first person to the Lord and is doing the same discipleship training that I did with her. She's going through the book of John with her now. It just warms your heart, because God shows us that our obedience is rewarded, and in things that they're not of this world. And the good report is because his kingdom is growing. And it's because of our obedience and our efforts to say, no, I will forsake my land, I will forsake my people, and I will forsake the gods of this world because I want to follow the God of the universe. And how amazing is that? It's just unbelievable what God does to bless us and promote us, as we're going to see in the book of Ruth. Just talking to the one woman I met in the afternoon, and then the one in later in the evening, just that God is doing things in those women's lives to move them into places of security, of just prominence, because of their faithfulness, that they were just obedient in it, and God opened these doors for them. He allowed them to do these things that they didn't see ever possible in their lives. And that's how he works. He rewards us for our faithfulness, not in ways often that the world says, oh, that's wonderful, but in ways that we know was not of ourselves. It was of God. So be encouraged. We have a good report to share. Everything that God does, working in and through our lives, because we have chosen to follow him first and not the things of this world to achieve for ourselves, but instead to achieve for him and be faithful in everything. We will see the fruit. And that's what a good report really is all about. So thanks for joining me today, everybody. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.